Hey, astronauts, welcome to the Digital Galaxy Podcast. I'm your pilot, Paul. Buckle up because today in episode 42, we're discussing the college degree barrier to work. The information in this episode comes from Inside Higher Ed, Axios, CNBC, and the National Clearinghouse Research Center. So, I'm going to explain kind of what's going on with college enrollment right now. According to the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center, college enrollment fell to new lows this past spring. In fact, the NSCRC says that, quote, overall spring enrollment fell to 16.9 million from 17.5 million, marking a one-year decline of 3.5% or 603,000 students, 7 times worse than the decline a year earlier, end quote. So what's kind of, attributing to that decline? Mainly, they say it's the pandemic. However, there could be a few different factors at play. Costs can be very prohibitive for many people to go to college as well. And one final factor could be the emergence of online boot camps and training that allows many people to learn valuable skills at home. Now, I personally can see how student debt could be could majorly dissuade many to make the leap into college. According to Axios, quote, the cost of college keeps climbing, and federal student loan debt sits at a whopping $1.6 trillion, end quote. I can personally relate there. I definitely contribute to that, $1 trillion debt there. But what's more important is how many people have adapted during the pandemic. A lot of employers lately have been nixing college degrees as a requirement for many positions. This has allowed many to choose cheaper education alternatives and secure some of those positions that they may be offering. Some large numbers of employers, including Google, Bank of America, Apple, IBM, and Penguin Random House, no longer require college degrees. I think people in general are more likely to apply for an online program regardless of their situation. It's cheaper, it allows great flexibility, and according to InsideHigherEd.com, quote, Harvard Harvard Business School online saw a 650% increase in enrollment between April and June compared to the same period in 2019, end quote. So in 1 year, it rose 650% at the start of the pandemic. It does seem that people are more comfortable going an alternative route with their education, especially if those larger companies I mentioned are no longer requiring those college degrees. However, this has created a very large, very crowded talent pool. Um, I'm going to fill you in on what's called the college degree barrier. Many companies are still hiring in credentials, not necessarily skills. According to CNBC, quote, as many as 30 million U.S. workers without college diplomas have the skills necessary to earn 70% more, end quote. So even if they are qualified without the degree, they are leaving a lot of money on the table, if you will. Another thing to consider is that during the pandemic, workers without college degrees have disproportionately lost their jobs. And many of those jobs, such as in the food service industry and hospitality, won't come back. So what's everyone supposed to do there? We'll see. We'll see if jobs rebound. I'm sure eventually people will get back to work and maybe take some alternative routes when it comes to college. But I'm not going to suggest you should go or not. There's obviously your choice, but you should take a look at all your options there. So that's going to wrap up this episode. Thanks for coming along. Please stick around to hear a message from our sponsor, Anchor.fm. Also, don't forget to follow our channels on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. You can also find this episode in the written form on our website, digitalgalaxypodcast.com. This episode was created by Claro, a social media app where you are in charge of your data and community. Check it out at claro.app. Thanks for coming along on our journey. We'll see you in the next one. Digital Galaxy Podcast runs on Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. So let me explain. First of all, it's free. Second, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.